Hey, Doc Jones here from the HomeGrown Herbalist School of Botanical Medicine, and this is Grape Leaf. So grape leaf is just grape leaves, right? Leaves on a grapevine, and Vitus is the genus. But so what do we use that for? Well, grape leaves, it turns out, are very high in a chemical called resveratrol. And resveratrol is sort of a trendy, popular chemical right now. Because it's a powerful anti-inflammatory. And so they're using it a lot in, inflammation products and joint products and arthritis products, sort of as a nutraceutical, the companies that make that kind of thing. It's also very good for inhibiting cytokines. All right. Well, what does that mean? So cytokines are chemical mediators that are used by your immune system to attract, white blood cells to come fight the bugs, right? A lot of our favorite immune-stimulating herbs, like, echinacea, just as an example, use cytokine stimulation to, stimulate an immune response, okay? And so cytokines are a good thing. But sometimes you can have too many cytokines and you just get more inflammation than you want. And so you can use this for inflammation, but you can also use it for what they call a cytokine storm. And a cytokine storm is a phenomenon that happens during severe respiratory illnesses sometimes, usually influenza viruses, although this new virus that we've had going around is killing some people with cytokine storms too. And what happens is that, for example, during the Spanish flu back in the 1920s, it wasn't the typical people that were dying of the flu. Usually the flu kills little kids and little old ladies, right? But in the 1920s, with the Spanish flu outbreak, a higher percentage of people dying were young, adult, healthy people. 20 to 30-year-olds were dying at a higher rate than the other groups that usually die. And the reason for that is that they had better immune systems, and they were actually drowning in their own immune response to that virus. And so that's called a cytokine storm, and that's a real mess. And so what happens is you get influenza or virus or one of these other respiratory viruses, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes you can get a very abrupt, filling of your lungs with fluid, and you're in real trouble, and that's a cytokine storm. And so grape leaf is a good remedy for that. In fact, I had an experience with my wife. We have, all around the property, we've got plants that we're using medicinally. And when we're coming down with a cold or something, I go out to the yard and I grab a handful of elder leaf and a handful of peppermint and a handful of yarrow and some echinacea flowers, and I make a tea, and we drink that for a day or two and we don't get sick, usually, right? And so we had that stuff in the fridge, and Lori was coming down with something, my wife. And about day 4, she's still not really getting better, and I'm thinking, this is probably an influenza, not just a cold, right? She's gonna need a little more intervention. Anyway, we had that tea in the fridge. And she took a swig of that tea in the morning and immediately felt much worse. I mean, she said, "Holy cow, I feel like I'm drowning." And I thought, oh, shoot. And I went out to the herb building and got some grape leaf and gave that to her, and it immediately turned that off. She was immediately better. And so that's what was happening. She wasn't having a life-threatening cytokine storm, but she was having a cytokine storm from the herbs that I had been giving her to stimulate her immunity to fight this bug. And so, 2 lessons there. First of all, you can't have too much of a good thing. And second of all, when you're doing herbal therapy, you have to be adaptable. And what they need on day 1 and day 2 may not be what they need on day 4, And so we need to be aware of that and adapt as we're going along. And especially with respiratory cases, if you get any kind of indication of cytokine, excess, then you need to discontinue the herbs that stimulate cytokines and jump onto some of this grape leaf to shut things down. So anyway, Dr. Patrick Jones from the HomeGrown Herbalist School of Botanical Medicine, and thanks for listening.